I thought I'd sneak another Smith song in before we get fully into the Christmas festivities. Why not, eh? What difference does it make? Hi, I'm Gary, welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining me today for this look at what difference does it make. A great Smith song, classic from the first album, an amazing guitar part. I've decided to do this one. Quite a few people have been asking me to look at it, so I thought we'll break it down. As always, we're going to get up close, look at each bit. There's only really two main parts to it. There's the main riff, the driving riff that runs right through the track, and then there's that sort of weird and wonderful chorus that nobody's really sure what's going on. I think I've got it. I've spent quite a lot of time looking at this, so stay with it, we'll break it down. I've got a couple of variations on it as well, actually, because I think he plays it differently live, or looking at some of the old videos that I've looked at. And then there's a bit of noodling around, a bit of riffing at the end, so we'll break that down too. So it's all good stuff. As always, we're going to get close up and we'll go through every little part of it. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. Thanks for all your support this year. If you're new to the channel, then I hope you like the video, and if you do, then please subscribe, give me a like, ring the bell. It just helps me out to grow the channel. Right, so there we go, we're up close now. Standard tuning for this one, capo at the 2nd fret. We're in Smith's tuning, so it's F-sharp tuning, or you can tune your guitar up. But I would recommend, unless you're playing all Smith's covers, then it's best just to use a capo, although it can get tight with some of the higher frets in some parts. I said this on my video for Barbarism Begins at Home, so I'm going to show you just a couple of alternative ways. I'm going to show you how I think Johnny plays these parts, and I'm going to show you an alternative way just because of the capo. If, like me, you've got quite big hands, it's quite hard actually to get some of the chord shapes, the bar chords, higher up the register. Tone wise, I've got a fairly clean tone. I've got some chorus, some delay, reverb through the amp. I'm on the clean channel. Nice jangly bright sound on the neck pickup. So let's look at that opening signature riff. Alright, so this is working round an A chord shape. Bear in mind that we capoed up, so it's B really. And the chords in this sequence, I'll refer to them by the chord names, but ignoring the capo. So it's A, C and D. Right, so they're the underlying chords, that's what's going on behind this riff. So let's look at that trademark opening riff. I'm using an A chord shape. I'm barring across the 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings with an open A string. I'll refer to these frets in relation to the capo, so I'm at the 2nd fret. Alright, so we've got, so that's an open A string, and then I'm on G2. So that's just the octave of it. Back to the A string, and then on the D string, the 4th string. Alright, so just practice that. I'm not moving my finger for any of that. Now in the next phrase, I'm just going to take my finger off and play the open G string. Again, I'm coming from that open A string, but then to an open G string, just let that ring out. Next, it's 2 strikes on the A string to the G2, to the D string, and then the open G again. So all together, very slowly. That's the first motif in the riff. Play it quicker. So I'm just taking my finger, so I'm barring across the G and the D string, and just sort of raising my finger off, just moving my finger like that. You could do it, you could just use two fingers. You could use your first and second finger if you find it easier to just lift off. But I personally, and I think the way Johnny does it, just keep my finger across and then just lift the fleshy part of my fingertip off the G string. Second motif in the riff, remember I said we've got a C and then going up to a D, so this is the section, if you like, where it changes to C. I'm going to just hammer on the 5th string, 3rd fret from the capo, for our C root note in relation to the capo. So we come out of this. Okay. Once we've hammered onto this C note, we're back to similar to what we've just played really, between the D and G strings. So that's G2. So it's 2 strikes on that 5th string actually. So hammer and then strike it again, and then up to G2. Strike it again on the A string, back to the A, so I'm just sort of moving between the A string and the G here, and then D2. So all together from the top we've got this. Finishing with that open G ringing out. And now we're going to move up to that D position. So coming out of that second motif, I've got the open G string still ringing out. I'm going to play an open D string because we're moving up to a D position here. In this 3rd part of the riff, I've got the open G string still ringing out. I'm playing, it's like a D chord but with an open 1st string. Okay, I'm going to strike the open D string first, and then the G string which I'm holding down at 2nd fret. Back to the D, and then the B string. Okay. So I'm not playing the 1st string at the moment. So all together so far it sounds like this. And then we have an open A string, then D2, then another open A string, and then an open G string. I'm just taking my time with this. I know it's quite slow, but it's important to get these notes correct. So all together, very slowly, from the top, it's this. Finishing with that open G string ringing out there. That's the main riff that goes right through the verse when the vocals come in. That brings us, after the first verse, into the first chorus sequence. This is the bit that gets tricky to work out. So that's the main riff. Just practice, get it down, get it really smooth, fluent, so that you can play it with your eyes shut really. Next we'll look at the chorus part. The underlying chords in this chorus section are our A shape, up to our D, you can play it with the open 1st string, down to an E, and then finishing with a G. So what difference does it make? So what difference does it make? That repeats twice, and then we go into this F sharp minor shape. I'm going to show you the detailed guitar parts in a minute. These are just the underlying chords. F sharp minor then. It makes no to our D. You can have a quick E in the middle actually there. It makes none, but now you have gone, and you must be looking very old tonight. And then back into the riff on A. So that's what's going on behind the jangly parts that Johnny plays, and which I'll show you now. So the first phrase sounds like this. So I'm referring to the frets on the guitar now, they're far away from the capo, so it's just easier to talk as they are on the guitar. I'm holding down B12 and G11, and I'm just striking those two notes together. Just downward strokes, do it 3 times, and then we take our finger off the B string and then put it back on. Okay. Just before we look at the next bit, you'll notice there that I'm holding the G with my second finger and the B with my third finger. I've got my first finger free because when we slide up in a minute, I'm going to swap fingers and I'm going to use my first and second fingers on the next position. Okay. Now coming out of that, I'm going to slide my second finger on the G string up to 16. I'm not striking it again, I'm just going to slide it up. So just let the momentum of the slide sort of keep some of the note going. And then I'm going to put my first finger down on the B string at the 15th fret. And then what we're going to do is pluck the G, the open first string, then G, B and the open first string again. Okay, so G, open, G, B, open. It sounds counterintuitive because this open string, you'd expect, you know, normally if you're holding that note down, that's going to be the highest note in the position, but it's not because we're playing it as an open chord. I find it a bit weird. It's G, open first string, G, B, open first string. So all together, slowly, that section so far. When you're playing this at speed, I don't think it matters too much which order you pick these notes in. You're not going to hear the difference, but that's what we're playing. But you know, if you end up sort of strumming over, it's going to sound fine. So that's the first 2 sections. Now let's look at the third. Third section is just a triad. I'm holding down B and G at the 11th fret there, and then I'm going to hold down the first string at the 9th fret on the guitar, and just play these strings in order from the G. So G, B, E, same again, and then just stopping on the B. So all together. Okay. To finish that, Johnny slides up his third finger on the B string to B12, still keeping his second finger down on the G string. So we get this. So that's the position we started with in this section, really, if you remember. And you can play that with the open first string. Just let it ring out as a chord. So. And then take your finger off, and I'm just holding the G string down now at the 11th fret and playing an open B string. Now I've seen some live footage of him, and when he plays it, he replaces that last section just with a sort of a power chord down here. So I'm just holding D and A strings at the the 7th fret of the guitar, open G string, and then just barring across the first two strings at the 5th fret on the guitar. Just a sort of power chord shape, so you can substitute that for that last section. If you did that, you'd have this. So putting that power chord shape, or you can just actually play from the D string. You can just bar the first two strings at the 3rd fret there. It's the same sound really. Play it like that, or you can hold down the D and A strings there. Alright, so putting that chord in instead would sound like this. I find it a bit easier just to hold those strings down, and that's all you need really. So that power chord, I've only seen him doing that when I've seen some live footage of it. I think he was playing at the Hacienda. I saw some footage where he brings that chord into it. But you could mix and match, you could use it if you're playing live. But going back to what we did before, we've got this. So this is for the studio part, if you will. An open B string to finish, and then you just repeat that. Now the second time, I think I hear an open G string before we go into It Makes None, where the vocals turn to It Makes None. Alright, so it's just on the second one before we go into the next motif. Hopefully that's going to make sense if you know the song. Alright, so the final part of the chorus, this is when the vocals turn to It Makes None, but Now You Have Gone. And there's a little motif that comes in just to finish the guitar parts for the chorus before we go back into the riff. So I'll just play through that now and then we'll break it down. It's getting a bit tight up there because of the capo, because Johnny would have been playing his 2 frets lower down the neck, having his guitar just tuned up instead of using the capo. But let's have a look what's going on there. I'll break it down. I'm going to just show you another way of playing it down the neck, which gives you a bit more room, a bit more finger room. So let's look at these chords. So I've got the A string, the 5th string at the 11th fret on the guitar there. I'm going to play D at 13. Okay. And then what we're going to do, you could do it using your little finger, it's play G. But I find it too crammed this high up the neck, especially on a Rickenbacker. The necks don't get any wider, so it's and the fret's getting narrower, but we've got this. So that's why I do it. I just roll my finger, I don't bring my little finger into it. Just roll my finger across the 2 strings for that first section. Alright? And then you can think of it as starting from that position. There we're holding D13. It's a bit like a sort of minor 7th shape now. I'm going to bring my 2nd finger in on B12, so playing the D string there, A, which is part of the bar, then I've got B at the 12th fret. You can strike that D note twice actually, so once, then I'm on the G string there, which is part of the bar chord, back to the D string, and I'm just pulling off on the B string there, 12th fret, playing the open, or the part, just the barred B string and the barred G string. Alright, so that section all together. Just repeat that. You can play it lower down the neck here actually. The notes ring out a bit better. I don't think Johnny plays it there, but if you're doing it with a capo, it's a bit easier to just hold down. So there I've got D6, and then just bar across on the 4th fret of the guitar, and strike back on the B and G strings. And the 1st string. And then just take, still keeping the bar, but I've just got my pinky there on the 7th fret of the B strings, just raking the strings across. Alright, so and just on the 1st string with my 3rd and 4th fingers, just pulling off there from the 7th to the 6th fret. And then you'd finish that with like a double stop on the 7th fret, then just holding down the 1st string at the 6th fret, and B7, it's like this really. And then back into the riff. As I say, Johnny plays it up here. If you're not using a capo and you're tuned up on your guitar, or if you just want to play it without a capo, just in concert pitch, not in tune with the record, then it's easier to play it up here. You can slide off. Finishing that section there, just barring across the strings, the first 3 or 4 strings, the 11th fret, and then at the B12, plucking that backwards from the beat. Put some percussion into it. That's what I mean when I say put some percussion into it. I'm not just playing it loosely, I'm sort of trying to just get some accents. Then back to the riff. Doing that part, barring there at the 11th fret with my first finger, so you can just slide back down to the riff. You're ready to go again. There we go, so in the outro there's a bit of noodling around, a couple of sort of easy riffs that come in really just over the top of the main riff, so we'll look at those next. In the outro there's some double stop notes that get played. Really easy, I'm not changing the shape of it, so I'm just holding down. We start on G40 and B50, just striking down. Slide that down one. Slide it down so that my second finger is at the 9th fret there, and then slide up so that my second finger is at the 11th fret. So if I put the riff on, the main riff from a looper, and play over it, it's going to sound like this. So if you're in a band with two guitars, it's nice to bring that in. If you're just playing at home, you can do it. If you've got a looper, you can just record the riff as I've done, or you could record that double stop part as a one-shot playback in your looper, and then just, you know, bring it in as and when you want at the end of the track. So that's it, those are all the parts, that's what I've come up with for What Difference Does It Make. I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. As always, please let me know what you think, get in touch. If anybody has got suggestions for more songs for me to cover in the new year, then please let me know. I'll do my best to work on them for you. So I'd just like to say thanks again to everybody for the support on the channel. Have a great Christmas, Happy New Year, enjoy your guitar playing, and I'll see you in 2024.